What is something people are not ready to hear?
Don't come for me too hard. Just because your child is neurodivergent, special needs, on the spectrum, however you feel to put it, doesn't mean that they don't still need to abide by the rules of an establishment, and doesn't mean that they may or may not need to be suspended or even expelled if they aren't following those rules. I'm probably gonna cry and I'm already shaking. My son is 7 years old. He has neuro ADHD and he is autistic. He also has OCD, and part of that is he latches on to phrases. Some of those phrases are really cute and happy. Some of them are not. They're scary sounding.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
Democrats are going to lose in 2022, and likely if they keep it up again in 2024. And it's going to be their own fault. If the Republican candidate had won, they would have abolished the filibuster 5 minutes after that person was sworn in, and they'd be passing legislation left and right. They show up with emails to the knife fight, and they still haven't figured out how to combat any of the Republican disinformation campaigns. If you fought like Republicans did, you'd win every time, because your policies are more popular than people realize. And if you don't abolish the filibuster and pass the Voting Rights Act, you're never going to win again, and it's going to be your own fault.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
Just because someone does something out of your comfort zone doesn't mean they're wrong. And a lot of people just don't understand that. I see this a lot with women who say they uplift women, support other women. You guys say that until it's something out of your comfort zone and something that you wouldn't do. I see this a lot of times when women post photos of themselves, photos that other women wouldn't post. Just because you wouldn't post that doesn't mean that they can't. Like if another woman wants to start an OnlyFans, cool, like let them get their bag. Don't be a dick. Just because you wouldn't do it doesn't mean they're wrong for doing it. It's bad enough when men tear down women, but when other women join in with them, it sucks and it's not fun. Don't say you support women when it only fits your agenda.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
You can make great money without a 4-year degree. One of the paths is digital marketing. Average salary for entry level can be up to $69,000. Google has a free certification for digital marketing. Look, completely free. On LinkedIn, put in digital marketing, your city, and these filters.
What is something people are not ready to hear? What is something people are not ready to hear?
I have seen heaven. I've also seen the kingdom of God. When I saw heaven, it was fantastic. But when I saw the kingdom of God, I cried my eyes out. There was nothing like it. Heaven is reserved for pretty much everyone. The kingdom of God, though, it's for those people who obey the most important commandment that there is. It's those who put God before everything else.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
If your boyfriend or girlfriend is threatened by your vibrator, dump them.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
This is gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way. So you know how a few years ago it was kind of like a trend on social media, especially for everybody to be like, oh, I want my man aggressive, I want him to choke me out, I want him to put me in my place. Now listen, before I say this, I love a masculine man, and I love a man that knows how to check me when it's needed. But to be talking to me crazy or acting like you're my pops, no. The women that have this obsession, these overly aggressive men, it stems from daddy issues. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just saying.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
Watching YouTube conspiracy theory videos, reading Facebook statuses from your mates, and sharing Instagram infographics with no verifiable information doesn't count as doing your research.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
Hi, ex-Catholic here. I can say all these things because I lived it. But if you are Roman Catholic or Catholic of any kind, you need to wake up and realize that you are in a cult. It is the largest, most normalized cult in the world. They operate under the guise of worshiping God, but it's nothing more than a business. They want to preach love your neighbor and help thy neighbor, but spend billions of dollars on churches when that money can go to people that actually need it. And not just like a building, right? We're talking about castle-like structures with stained glass windows, statues, gold sometimes. Also not forget that it was founded on genocide and will not take responsibility for said genocide. Actively participated in the killing of indigenous kids. Catholicism is not Christianity.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
That friendships between single people and married people with kids are inherently unequal. Single people will pay thousands of dollars and spend months of their life celebrating married people and people with kids. There will be bridal showers, bachelorette parties, weddings. There will be baby showers. There will be birthday parties. There will be money spent celebrating and time spent celebrating the married or pregnant friend. And that will never be reciprocated if you are single. They will never spend a month celebrating you or thousands of dollars on you. And it's because our society values those who are married and those who have kids more than they do single people. So no matter how much you love your friends, the relationship is inherently 100% unequal.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
I'm a nurse practitioner and I work in a walk-in setting. For the last few months, I'd gotten to where I was only seeing about 2 or 3 COVID patients a month, maybe. It almost gotten to the point that when I got one, I was now kind of surprised, like, oh my gosh, a COVID case. Fast forward to the last 3 weeks. I'm now seeing in a day what I used to see in a month, COVID positive-wise. Also noticed I'm seeing more patients with COVID and strep. Several of my older patients have had COVID, strep, and pneumonia, which strep is not as common in older patients, so this is kind of a strange thing going on. So just when we thought COVID was starting to calm down, it's back.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but we're going to go with it. Since we're bringing back the 90s, can we please bring back this 90s trend? Boys are out here acting all fly with their mullets, but can you rock the mushroom cut? Literally, I don't understand why we skipped over this and went to mullets. Like, it was this that gave me feels as a kid. Sean Hunter was out here getting all the ladies. More for nostalgia. But seriously, let's bring back this trend.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
That people celebrate other people's demise. That people celebrate when somebody is taking something from them. That people celebrate other women getting abused, being taken advantage of, getting their money taken, getting spit on. These are things that some of these people celebrate doing. Y'all not ready to hear that, though.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
As someone who has been skinny and also fat, I can tell you that pretty privilege, so fucking real. People will treat you very differently. Not even just in the dating scene either. Random strangers you pass, people online, your friends.
It's a tough pill to swallow that I've never been treated better than at my dentist.
And to top it off, I'm sure on this video I'm gonna get a comment about promoting obesity.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
That autism is genetic. I have 3 special needs children, all boys. I have a 15-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a soon-to-be 3-year-old. My 15-year-old was diagnosed with autism about 12 years ago. Okay, he was 3 at the time. My 5-year-old was diagnosed with autism when he was 2. My soon-to-be 3-year-old was just diagnosed with autism a couple of months ago. Now, why do I think that this is genetic? Again, well, the difference between my 15-year-old and my 2 smaller children is that they have different dads, okay? The only common denominator is me. The only common denominator. To get a little more, wood going into the fire, my parents only had me. I am the only daughter. Now, we know that autism is common in boys. So, my grandmother, meaning my mother's mother, had 5 children. 1 boy, 4 girls. My tias and my Theo had 1 son. Guess what? He's autistic. My tias all had girls. They all had girls. My cousins are predominantly female. Now, when we started to have children, the boys that were born, most of them are autistic. Again, I'm not a geneticist, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but common denominators, people, come on. Now, is it easy for me to come on here on this platform and tell you that I honestly, in my heart, believe that I am the reason for my son's autism? No, it's not. I struggle with it mentally daily. However, I am urging families with individuals that have autism to look at their family and not the people in your household. Look at your families as a whole, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your mom's cousin's cousin. Look to see if anybody else has special needs. It is time for us to advocate to these geneticists that this is a real issue. This can be fixed. We can give these children, like the individuals that have Down syndrome, early intervention. There has to be a genetic marker somewhere. There has to be.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
Men and women can never just be friends. Somebody always wants more. It might be hidden deep down inside in their subconscious, but somebody always wants more.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
As someone who has been skinny and also fat, I can tell you that pretty privilege, so fucking real. People will treat you very differently. Not even just in the dating scene either. Random strangers you pass, people online, your friends. It's a tough pill to swallow that I've never been treated better than at my thinnest. And to top it off, I'm sure on this video I'm gonna get a comment about promoting obesity.
What is something people are not ready to hear?
If a strange black man approaches me at night, my first thought is that I'm going to get beaten up or robbed. If a strange white man approaches me at night, my first thought is that I am going to get raped or murdered.
What is something people are not ready to hear?